He just got bitched, yo.
Bro, but I felt bad, bro, because you was like you were mad as fuck.
No, bro, I'm 2 days in. I can give two fucks, bro.
Wait, does O'Brien stay after school on Thursdays?
Nah,
Uh,
I don't think so.
Wednesdays?
Probably. I think it's only Tuesdays.
Does Sheeler stay after school?
Sheila does
Sheila,
not stay after school
nah,
at all, bro.
that boy dips.
That
Shit.
boy goes home to smoke Halloween, bro.
I lost my
Nah,
opportunity.
I swear he's off the Zod like at least twice a week, bro.
Twice a week, more like 5 times a
Oh,
week.
Something up
he's
with that
always
guy,
like
man. Jeez, I'm gonna have to. If he's not in the class during my study hall, then it's raps.
Study hall? When do you have study hall?
Period 8.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it might be raps, bro.
There's no way he would not be there.
Yeah, you guys on yet?
Bro,
Mm,
it
updating.
has that 0.1 kilobyte per second glitch, bro.
I still got that apes test too, man. God damn.
Oh, you didn't even go, yeah.
Bro,
Damn,
these
bro,
tests-
and you got Calc and Bio Thursday, yo. That shit is so tough.
Sir, it's horrible timing. It's horrible timing.
It's a tragedy. I thought I was done after Wednesday, and then like O'Brien pulls up Thursday test, and then Miss Shaw's like out of nowhere, yo, we got Thursday test.
Nah, it's the calc quiz, bro. That or the calc test. That's really like pushing it.
It's really was coming.
That's
Yeah,
really
because
pushing it.
I know the majority of chapter 9 and 8, or not 8, 10. So like I think the bio test, I'm fine with like a solid 80.
Yeah, you guys
then-
finally learned integration yet?
Yeah, we're about to be done chapter 4. We're about to have a test on it, and I haven't even like I don't know shit.
My god. Yo, let me teach you integration right now.
No, bro, I'm not trying to deal with that. I'm fucking fried.
You're fried, like right now?
Yes, bro. Like I'm actually like I'm done. I'm done with school.
Yo, what have y'all been doing in Austin, yo?
What are you here for the test?
The namesake I was.
Yeah, that shit
Where-
was cooked, bro.
Are you caught up in English?
Yeah. It's just like I got a 0 for the map test. It's just like I don't know what to do about that.
So what's your final grade for English?
He didn't grade a test. Oh yeah, and he didn't check my notebook yet. So I'm sitting on a 47.
Hey, I'm sitting at a 63 for English, and he hasn't graded my shit yet. Bro, I got absolutely butt fucked by that fucking vocab test and shit, bro.
Nah, he was disgusting for doing verbatim.
That was it. Like I was honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the verbatim 10 was not bad. The worst part was verbatim for the previous years.
See, like
Or not
that's actually autistic.
Bro, verbatim for previous units and no word bank. Like I knew the definitions and I knew the words and the sentences. I just didn't know the words. You know what I mean?
See, like what's the point of that? It makes no sense.
Because he makes that test to fail. I know someone that got 10, so it's like
Oh well, there you go.
he really. Hey, he said my paper was impressive, and I got a 53. Or no, not 53, 56. So
Oh, so he definitely built that shit to fail, bro.
Yeah,
He's actually a
I'm saying, bro.
bum.
he actually a bum for that.
Bro, Austin always be like, beginning of the year, he's like, if you skip my test, I'll make sure you go through hell. And I make up every single vocab test, and it's the same one like the
Bro,
other
I
people
don't know
take
how
it.
to, like, I don't know how to like describe this motherfucker Austin, but like sometimes he like gets on my nerves, bro.
What?
Like, bro, I'll ask him a question, like, and he'll like he wouldn't answer my question. He'll give me a question to answer my question. I'm like, bro, can you just answer my shit, bro? Like, and his main line, right? Every single time is like, precisely. I'm like, yo, like, what are you on, bro?
That low key sounds like Austin, bro.
He type chill
Time
though.
to
He type chill.
Nah,
Yeah, he
he's
type
mad
chill, he
chill,
type
don't get
chill,
me
he
wrong,
type
I
chill.
like his class. He's mad cool.
Oh.
Nah, he cool as hell. He said good morning to me today. Like, damn, bro.
Dude, he really, dude, it's almost like it's like a normal human interaction,
Damn, like,
bro.
no, because he remembers me, bro. He looked at me, he's like, good morning,
Bro, he
Alex. And I
don't
was
know you, bro. Like,
like, he know me, bro. He know me.
bro,
I was
all
like,
you people look the same, bro. He's had like a
hello?
1,000 chinks in his fucking 10 years.
You
of
have the
dating, bro.
same, you have the most common name in the world, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? I got a common name, not a common look. A big difference. A big difference.
Okay, like you can be in a room of like comp sci majors, and then they'll say Muhammad Khan. Everyone's gonna say fucking here, bro.
Everyone's gonna stand up.
Everyone's gonna stand up, say here, bro. It's raps.
You're. Bro, this guy's playing fucking Black Panther, bro.
Yo, the fuck going on my Valorant?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I can play, bro.
Really?
Yo,
Fucking
modified shark, you gotta switch though, bro. You don't got the Lord status like us, bro. You gotta switch, bro.
0.1 kilobytes per second, and then it moves up to 6,
Huh?
and it goes back to fucking 0.1 kilobytes per second, bro.
Jeez.
It is so ass, bro.
Wait,
It is so
yo,
ass.
Timmy, Loki, you can play a game, bro. I'll get you laundry for you. Don't worry about it, bro.
Alright, bet, pussy.
Fuck, how you gonna call me a pussy when I just offered to get your laundry for you, bro? That's crazy, bro.
My bad, pussy.
This generation doesn't appreciate the little things anymore, bro. It's just
This
crazy.
game requires a
Like,
system
I
restart
offered
to
jerk off
play?
Alex today, and that motherfucker didn't even say thank you afterwards.
Wait, so are you guys playing Valorant now? Cause I'll probably just start one up.
Nah, just do your homework, bro. That shit not in my hands up, man.
Alright, sounds good
No
to
one
me.
hear what I just said.
Yo, Muhammad just got airballed like crazy, bro.
Nah,
Damn.
bro, cause that shit was low-key kind of funny, bro. Like, damn.
I didn't even hear what he say, honestly.
Oh my goodness, Valentine.
What? Is that the basketball thing?
Yeah, sound like that.
How I feel about the AD and Luca transfer.
I don't watch basketball like that. I don't care.
Aw.
honestly.
That
Like a crazy, like,
shit's insane.
that's crazy, bro.
It is crazy, actually.
Muhammad, you watch basketball?
Yeah,
Dead ass?
yeah, I'm a Miami Heat fan.
Oh, fuck
Miami
no.
Heat?
Motherfucker, Jimmy Butler just got cut.
You said what?
Jimmy Butler just got cut.
I mean, he deserves it, bro.
What the fuck? Jimmy Butler deserves to be cut. I've never heard those words. If you're a Heat fan, who do you like on the Heat? There's no one on there.
To help us understand how
Nah, Alex, I'm about to
cell-to-cell
be in the gym, like, every
communication
day.
works, I want you
You
to think
grinding like
back to
that?
your
What
good
time you
old
about to go?
elementary-
Right after school.
That's what's up. So, alright. You're not gonna eat before school or before the gym? You're just gonna hop straight into it?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm gonna be at school, leave at like 10, then go to the gym. We're going to Island.
You said what?
I said I'm gonna be at Island.
Damn, that's good, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm locked in. I'm gonna be locked in. Nah, cause my homie was like, I want to do that too. He was like, I bet. So I can.
Is your homie new to the gym or?
Nah, he's go like a little bit. He went like a little bit in the summer, and then stopped going because his homie.
So do you plan on just following like what he does?
Yeah, we're going for like the same build.
That's what's up.
That's like, yeah, fuck it, sure, okay.
All right.
Like, I played.
Stay deaf.
Down one healer right now.
The moon haunts you.
Gotta stay on. We gotta stay on. We gotta stay on.
Okay.
School days. And in particular, I want you to think about the things you'd have to do in order to secretly talk to your friends during class. So here you are sitting in your classroom, and you desperately want to tell your friend here something. So you write a little note and you pass it to them. From your hand directly to their hand. So they see the note, but no one else sees it. It's just for them. But let's say you want to tell your friend across the room something. I don't know about you, but when I was in elementary school, I used to write notes on pieces of paper, fold it up into a paper airplane, and I had pretty good aim back then, so I'd throw my paper airplane over to my friend across some distance, and they'd get my message. And again, they'd be the only one who got the message. No one else got my little paper airplane message. And if I wanted to tell a few friends something, I might call a little huddle and actually say a few things just to this group of friends here. So my voice would cross this small distance between us. Now let's kick things up a notch. I was kind of a rebel in elementary school, and sometimes I'd go to the secretary's desk and take over the intercom to say funny things to my friends, maybe to tell them to meet me at the flagpole or on the playground at recess or something. And so this intercom message that I'd send out, that would go to everyone. It would be broadcasted to the whole school. And so those who wanted to come meet me would do that, and those who wouldn't. And we can think of cells as little people that do really similar things. Because you might not always think about it, but it's really, really important that cells are able to talk to each other. And evolutionarily, cells being able to communicate with each other are a major reason why we're as complex as we are as human beings. And I'll give you examples of when cells might talk to each other as we go along here. So how do cells pass notes to each other? How do they directly communicate with each other? Well, one way is by actual direct contact. So cells have lots of proteins stuck into their plasma membranes here that serve a lot of functions. And the most important one is for communication. So let's look at a macrophage here. This is a type of white blood cell that's a part of your immune system. So when these macrophages see a foreign invader, maybe a little bacteria or a virus, they can ingest it. They can ingest it, then they break it down, and then they display a little piece of it, which is now called an antigen, on their surface. So they show it off on their surface with one of these cell surface proteins here. And this one in particular is called an MHC2 protein. So now this little antigen here has become the note that they want to pass on. This antigen is the message. And so another white blood cell, maybe a helper T cell might come along and then grab hold of this antigen here with one of its cell membrane proteins. In this case, a T cell receptor. So just by doing this, the macrophage here managed to pass a message onto the helper T cell here. And now, based on which antigen this is, the T cell can decide whether to start a full-blown immune response. Maybe it'll go off and ring more alarm bells by activating other antibody cells, which are called B cells. Or not, maybe they'll just do nothing. It just depends on what type of note this is. So when cells directly touch to communicate, sort of unsurprisingly, this is called direct cell-cell communication, or just direct binding. Now, what about our other methods of communication? Cells can also communicate over short distances.
Fuck. physically contact. This kid deafened himself. He trying to avoid him. Paracrine endocrine.
Distances. This is our paper airplane here. So for example, let's look at two neurons. So they're in close approximation, but one end of a neuron doesn't quite touch the start of the next neuron here. There's a little gap there called the synaptic cleft. So what neurons do is they release little signals called neurotransmitters to communicate with each other. So neurotransmitters get released from the end of this neuron, and they'll diffuse across this little distance here until they bind onto one of the dendrites of this next neuron.
Dendrites.
And that effectively passes the message on from this neuron to this next neuron. The paper airplane is thrown from here to here, and this is called neural communication. And over here, just like calling a huddle, one cell can talk to a small group of cells locally as well. So, for example, just underneath our skin, let's say the skin inside our nose, we have these immune cells called mast cells, and they're really important in mediating allergic reactions. That's why I purposely picked the nose here. So let's say you're allergic to certain pollens, and one day in the spring you found yourself walking through the park. Inevitably, you'd breathe in some pollen, and then the pollen would go on to attach to these antibodies stuck to our mast cells. And what happens as a response to this is that the mast cells release little chemical signals called histamine. So histamine acts as our short-range message. It travels around to cells in the area to let them know that an allergen has been found, and lets them know to start preparing for an allergic reaction to take place. And this type of communication is called paracrine signaling, paracrine meaning nearby. Finally, the intercom takeover. How do our cells talk to huge groups of cells at once? Well, they do that by endocrine signaling. So, for example, cells in our pituitary gland in our brain make a lot of the important hormones in our bodies. So let's say that they're making growth hormone, GH, to send around to all the cells in the body. Sending this hormone is their form of communication here. So they'll create the growth hormone inside their cell bodies, and they'll release them into the bloodstream. And now our growth hormone can travel through the bloodstream and get to literally any place in the body. So every cell of your body has the opportunity to get this growth hormone message. It doesn't mean that every cell will necessarily respond to the message. Some cells just don't have the right proteins to bind certain hormones. But either way, you can see that this is a long-distance form of communication.
What I want to do in this video is give ourselves a quick overview of the different ways that cells can communicate with each other. And maybe the most basic one is just through direct contact. Direct contact, and this can happen several different ways. One way could be you just have neighboring cells. So this is one cell right over here, and this is the neighboring cell right over here. And they actually might have gaps in their membranes. If these are plant cells, we would call these gaps gap junctions. So you might have, I just drew two of them, and this is obviously just kind of a two-dimensional slice, so we're not fully appreciating the three-dimensional structure. But the basic idea here is maybe the cell on the left starts producing some molecules, especially some small molecules that are able to go through these gap junctions. And when they're able to go through the gap junctions, maybe they latch on to some proteins in the second cell that start maybe activating them. them in a certain way, or inhibit them in a certain way, or trigger some type of reaction. And so then you have a response in the second cell. So this would be a form of communication. Something happened in this first cell to produce these molecules. Those molecules were able to get into the second cell and trigger a response. And as I mentioned, if these are animal cells, we would call these gaps, we'd call them gap junctions. So that right over there, that is a gap junction. Gap junction. And we covered this in other videos. And if we're talking about plant cells, we can have very similar things happening, but we wouldn't call them gap junctions. We would actually, these would be gaps not just through the, not even tunnels through the membrane, it would also be through the cell walls. If we were talking about plants, they would be plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata. And we talk about these more in the structure of cell videos. But there's other ways that you could communicate via direct contact. You could imagine maybe some cells that are floating around in the bloodstream. Maybe this is one cell over here. Maybe this is another cell over here, and they have complementary surface proteins that are able to bind to each other. So maybe this one has a surface protein that looks like this. I'm obviously exaggerating its shape. The protein wouldn't look exactly like this inverted triangle. But this one has a surface protein like this, and I'm also exaggerating its size relative to its cell, just so we can appreciate how they could maybe lock together. So this one has a surface protein like that. And when they bind to each other, it might change the proteins in some way and then trigger a reaction in each of these cells. So the communication then continues. If this protein changes a little bit, it might activate something. It might activate the release of some molecules, might activate some other proteins, might catalyze some type of reaction. We've seen this in multiple other videos. All sorts of crazy biological reactions can happen inside of cells, but it could elicit a response. And actually could even elicit a response in both cells. Some type of response. They know that they are latched on. They know that they're latched on to someone else. Now, direct contact, you can imagine, is not the only way that you could have cell-cell signaling. You could actually have cells start to signal over a little bit of a distance by releasing molecules into the extracellular space and eventually even into the bloodstream. So, for example, let me draw a cell right over here, and maybe it's able to produce some molecules. And these molecules, either they might be lipid soluble and maybe make their way through the cellular membrane on their own, or maybe they are packed in nice vesicles that allow them to traverse the membrane. So when you get so the membrane of the vesicle merges with the membrane of the cell, and then it allows these things to get out. And so you can imagine if another cell has the right receptors for these, that would signal some type of a response, or it will form some form of communication. So let's say that I have, actually let me draw a couple of cells. So let's say I have this cell over here, and then I have this cell over here. And let's say that this cell has the right receptor, and this cell doesn't. It could have other receptors. Maybe it has receptors like that, but it's not the right receptor. And so these molecules that were released by this first cell could bind not on this character, not on this protein, this surface protein, but it could bind on this character. So it could bind on this character, And when it does so, this protein that's on the cellular membrane, it might change its shape, it might do all sorts of things, but that signal can be then taken somehow it can continue on into the cell, and once again, you might elicit some type of response. And we'll go into more detail in future videos on exactly how that happens or what these responses actually might be. Now, if this is over a short distance, if this is a short distance, we would call this paracrine. This would be part of the paracrine system, or we would call this paracrine communication. Let me write that down. Paracrine system, or paracrine communication, or paracrine signaling, and we would call these paracrine factors. But if it was happening over long distances, say maybe these molecules, they enter into the bloodstream, so they make their way into the bloodstream right over here. So let me depict somehow that this is the bloodstream. So this is the bloodstream, and they're able to go through the bloodstream over longer distances to other molecules. So maybe this one has the right receptors for those molecules. Then we call this endocrine system, or this is endocrine signaling. So long distances, we would call this the endocrine system, or endocrine signaling. And we're talking about the endocrine system and endocrine signaling. These molecules, which could just be, they could be all sorts of different types of molecules. They could be steroids, they could be proteins of some kind. In this case, we would call them hormones. And you've probably heard the word before, and we will do a whole series of videos on hormones. But these molecules actually could even affect the cell that produced them. For example, the cell that produced it might have the right receptor. And so if it's able to trigger a reaction in itself, so if these things are able to trigger a reaction in itself, we would call that an autocrine process. Autocrine. It is acting on itself. And just so you're familiar with some of the terminology, these proteins on the surface, and this would be the case especially if you have non-lipid soluble types of signaling factors or molecules right over here. These proteins, well, actually, even if they're on the surface or even if they're within the cell, we would call them receptors. So that right over there, that is a receptor. And the molecules themselves, these things that bind onto the receptor, we call them the ligand. Ligand, in general, it's a general term for something that binds onto a receptor. And so at that point where you bind onto a receptor, whether you're talking about the paracrine process or I left a C out here, endocrine signaling, this process where it kind of starts to, where it latches on, we would call that a signal perception. And then when this protein, somehow changes its shape or starts catalyzing a reaction or inhibiting a reaction, we would call this the signal transduction. It's bringing the signal into the cell, and then you have your actual cellular response. So hopefully you appreciate that as just a bit of an overview of how cells can signal with each other. And in future videos, we'll go into a little bit more detail, especially the endocrine system and our understanding of hormones.